driving an SATX. Okay, the first thing I want to point out here is that this car is waiting to turn right onto the access road, as indicated by the blinker. There's a lane cut out for turning vehicles to go and not have to wait for the light. But if a car that's going straight decides to sit here, then cars can no longer skip the wait. This car did just that. This car does not need to turn right. But as you can see, since there's no car here before I arrived, this driver drove up and had the option to sit in this lane or that lane, neither one of them putting him ahead of the other. And that is the lane this driver chose. But it gets worse. Watch this. So this driver needed to get into this turning lane as they needed to make a U-turn, which means that it would have been nothing but logical for the car to have pulled up and waited here instead of here, which would have not only positioned them to make the U-turn that they needed to make without having to change lanes in the middle of an intersection, but would have allowed this car to make his turn and be on his way long before the light changed. For some people, it doesn't take much to consider others, but then there are some that obviously don't even know that's a concept. On this day, I've just entered the highway. As I'm making my way over a couple of lanes from the right, I first noticed this car speeding along on the far right. Then a few seconds later, I noticed this one. Now, immediately I saw this car and how fast it was going, and I thought it looked kind of familiar. Then I kept an eye on it and was able to see this. Whoa, that looks very familiar. It immediately made me think of this. Driving like straight up idiots, creating the most possible danger they can just because they're plain old stupid. There's no other explanation for driving like this. I came home to check the archives, and it turns out it was coincidentally a similar Ford, but not the same one. You can see a few differences here, but eerie how both drivers drive just as stupid in the same way. Here we have another video submission from our friend at the Instagram account, The Great American Dashcam. I've included a link in the description. If you haven't had a chance to check him out, he has local videos as well as videos from other parts of the country. There are quite a few in his collection. Make sure to follow him as well for more videos as he posts them. In this one, the driver is approaching Airport Boulevard. Driver has a green light and the right of way, of course. The cars coming from this direction have a yield sign, and like all other signs, it's not just there for decoration on the side of the road. It's to prevent a collision. But in order for it to work, the drivers coming from this way have to actually mind the sign. Unlike this driver, who pulls out without a worry in the world. Why on earth would anybody be coming here? It's not like this is a road that everyone has access to. Weird. Leaving this store, I'm making my way out of the parking lot, and I come across this scene here. Let's discuss all the wrong in this scene. First of all, we're in a parking lot. There are literally spots painted out with yellow lines designated for cars to park. This is not one of them. This is a driveway, a two-way driveway. Cars can go this way and this way. But this driver decided to park on this side of the driveway, which will block cars that will want to come this way. Now, this door was left open, as if this guy was in his yard. So in addition to impeding oncoming traffic, this door is sticking out and partially blocking the other side. People, a little thinking goes a really long way, especially when people refuse to think all the time. Here's an accident I passed on Perrin Vital. I didn't get the accident as it happened, but I was able to get the aftermath and all the damage. Hopefully everyone was okay. But keep this image in mind as you make your way home. Accidents are preventable and usually caused by negligence. More than anything else, someone in this case was not paying attention. And based on how hard these trucks have crumbled, it looks like someone was going much faster than they needed to on this road. Whatever it was, I'm sure it wasn't worth it to the drivers of the 3 vehicles that were ultimately involved. There's no reason for some of the stupid driving we see, but stay alert and stay safe out there. Here's one I was able to catch from the rear cam. This Ford SUV is making its way over to the left lane. He makes his lane change with a blinker, so he's aware of the rules. Yet, when he gets into this lane, he then tries the no blinker San Antonio lean over to move into the next lane, but he's not allowed over by this car. Then the next car comes up fast as though they're not aware this truck wants to move over. But then it hits him. Maybe if I use this blinking light contraption again, these cars might know what I'm trying to do and they'll allow me space to move over. Crazy how that works. You know, sometimes I wonder if car manufacturers have given up on including blinkers since people refuse to use them. Look at this Dodge pickup. First, the driver displays some very low driving IQ, looking really green out there. And by green, I don't mean friendly to the environment. No, I mean it looks like this might be this driver's first week ever on the road. He's riding along in this lane, and when this Mazda puts a blinker on, it pretty much spooks the Ram driver into this semi-erratic lane change with no blinker, of course, only for him to go right back behind the car. Do you mean to tell me the blinker doesn't work and the brakes are iffy as well? Because if he was going to stay in this lane, a gentle press on the brakes would have taken care of this. But a swift jerk of the wheel into the next lane like that? No, you don't ever want to do that. Then, as we move on, we can see that his blinker is simply not going to have a chance to shine today. Also, is it me, or does it seem to be in a tiny bit of a hurry? Maybe someone should have told him that faster traffic is supposed to be over here. On this day, as I approach this light, you can see that this truck has pulled into the turn-only lane, as indicated by the ground and these signs here. When the light turns green, they figure out there's some kind of rhyme and reason for these signs and markings, and they fail to set themselves up in the correct lane. So they throw out an entitlement card and make their way over, cutting off all the cars who bothered to get into the correct lane. When lanes merge together, everyone is supposed to do their part to apply the zipper effect. Now, I have an entire channel dedicated to driving issues in this city, so don't tell me that everyone around here knows what I'm talking about when I say that. But it's really simple. It goes back to a concept that was taught to us at a very early age. Take your turn. One goes, then another, then another. One from the right, one from the left, one from the right, one from the left, and repeat. Nobody, I repeat, nobody, that's not driving an emergency vehicle gets to jump ahead and go when it's not their turn. If we all follow this, it'll run smoothly. There will be less stomping on the brakes, which will result in less traffic. As you can see, these cars are all leaving a gap for the merging cars to zipper into place. The entering vehicles are all falling in, and as a result, we're all moving pretty smoothly. But remember, we're driving an SATX here. Here comes this Tahoe. And rather than recognize what's going on here and move over into this wide open spot that is perfect for this situation, he thinks about how he likes to go first. You know, like a 4-year-old that doesn't know any better, and tries to hit the gas to get around me, only to realize that's not going to happen. So in the process, he hits the gas, wasting expensive fuel, and then has to stomp on the brake and slow down. All he had to do was roll into place right here with no worries. It's a simple concept that some people like to make difficult, but that's just part of driving an SATX.